Hi, it's the end of October 2022, and there is a lot of talk about the market crashing. What's going to happen? Oh my goodness. I want to give you an update, and I'm going to give it to you right now. You know, it's been a hot market, crazy time, definitely a seller's market. And now we have inflation. We have rate increases and things have changed. But people want to know, how high will they go? What's going to go? I shouldn't buy. Oh my goodness. And I want to share with you some information to calm your nerves. I'm going to credit much of this to Barry Habib, if I'm saying his name right, Habib, who actually was the Crystal Ball, which is what we're looking for right now, the Crystal Ball Award winner for 2017, 19, and 2020 by Zillow and Pulseonomics for the most accurate real estate forecast out of 150 top economists in the U.S. So much of what I'm sharing with you came directly from him, and I found it super helpful, and I hope you do as well. He thinks there's actually real opportunity right now for buyers if they can get past the fear, and that's what I'd like to do with you now. Mortgage rates are entirely tied to inflation, and why would that be? Well, think about it. It's a promise for money given back over time, and as inflation erodes the buying power of the money you're getting back, an investor wants a higher rate of return to compensate for the loss of buying power. So it makes sense. Well, what is inflation? Inflation is too few goods and too many people wanting them. So if there's not enough stuff and people want the stuff, of course, the prices will go up. So we've had that going on in our economy because we've had some supply chain issues, of course, and a lot of money in the economy. Some of it's stimulus money, but a lot of money is tied to credit. Something like, he said 16 out of $17 spent are on credit. So if they want to reduce the amount of money in the economy, the amount of demand, they're going to increase the rate of that credit. Well, it's working. So maybe people who were thought, well, maybe I'm going to buy a car, they're not going to buy the car. Maybe the people who were going to build the factory say, I might not build the factory right now. And so we're seeing evidence that inflation is slowing. And Barry showed a very detailed explanation going into year-over-year numbers that I'm happy to share with you on a different forum, that he fully expects that the rates are going to drop, inflation will drop, and especially after January, having to do with the housing numbers, which are lagging. He goes on to say that goods are now flowing more freely. Our supply chain issues are easing, and I understand that we're going to maybe have an abundance of goods on the shelves, and we'll see some sales. Wouldn't that be lovely? When inflation comes down, mortgage rates will come down. He fully expects to see 5% in the first half of 2023, possibly even, if we're fortunate, a smidge lower. Right now, things are a little painful. The rates feel really high. But I'm going to go on to show you why you might want to get past that. In 8 out of the 9 recessions that we've had, rates actually did go down. The one that didn't, the recession was caused by the housing bubble. So we're going to discount that one. Let's talk about home prices. Well, home prices are tied to supply and demand. So let's talk about demand. Think about households. We have mom, dad, and a kid. That's one household. And that child, on average, turns 33. They want their own house. So now we have 2 households. The number of children would be related to the number of households. And we happen to have had a lot of births in years past. And so now we have a lot of demand for homes. Couple that with the supply of homes. Builders were building, and then we had the crash of whatever year you want to call it, 2008, 9, 10, and builders just completely shut down, and it took them quite a long time to build back. We still have a lot of demand and very little supply. Inventory's low, and I think sellers are holding back, so inventory's even lower. 2007, we had like 4 million homes for sale, and now we have like 1.2 million homes for sale. Homes that are priced right continue to sell. Media is saying, oh my goodness, foreclosures are up, oh my goodness, ah! But the truth is they're still incredibly low, and we did have a moratorium, so of course the numbers are higher right now. In 2021, let's say you had a rate of 3.5% and a price of $400,000. Your monthly payment was about $1,800, and the average income to buy that home was $9,000 a month. Now, in 2022, that price rose, and now it's $460,000. And now your rate is 7%. So your payment is like $1,300 more. Well, ouch. But wait, let's take a look at income. So how do we know how much income is going up? Well, they looked to ADP, which reviewed 25 million payroll records, and found that for those who stay at their jobs, their pay is increased 7.8%, and for those that leave, it's even higher. If we average those, while your payment went up $1,300, your income went up about $800. Well, let's be fair, now things cost more, so you pay more for gas and food and services, and your costs went up as well. And so you still have a shortfall, and that's a problem today. That's holding people back. But let's look forward. Payment is fixed. You may be able to refinance in 2023 and get it down to 5. But let's say you don't refinance. Let's say you stick with that rate. If you wait one more year, your income's going to go up and you'll offset the entire overage. Makes sense. Maybe you should rethink this and not be so concerned about the rate. But what about this talk about prices dropping dramatically? Well, with demand where it is and supply where it is, the forecasts are not to see a major drop in prices. So a little bit more about where we see home prices going. Now this is national, and I feel extremely good about Chester County compared to some of the parts of the nation right now. Ivy Zellman gets a lot of press, and she's predicting a 4% decrease in prices. But I do want to share this information, just comparing other experts. Here's a compilation of some of the experts, including the National Association of Realtors, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. They're all forecasting a positive appreciation, albeit not dramatic. We're in the low digits, low single digits, but that is not what I would call a crash. What we do have going on is an opportunity that we haven't seen in a long time. Before, you had to bid $50,000 over the list price. Now you might be able to actually bid under the list price. No promises, depends on the property. Inspections, they're back. You can negotiate terms. We're seeing home settlement contingencies. We're seeing things that used to be normal, but they went away. You can wait. You can wait for those rates to come down to 5%, but then so will everyone, and they'll be out there and you'll be back in the same frenzy. Why not take an opportunity right now, buy when the terms are favorable, refinance down the road, and get the house you want? Warren Buffett said, be greedy when others are fearful. Maybe it's time to be greedy. And there is fear, and it's unfounded. Real estate creates wealth. 2/3 of the wealth for most people is in their equity in their home. What does this mean in Chester County, Pennsylvania? You can see from these graphs that the days on market has crept up to a really big 8 instead of 6. The month supply of inventory was quite low, and which means if all the houses on the market sold at the pace that we're selling, how long would it take to sell them all? Still incredibly, incredibly low. 3 months. It's still a great opportunity for sellers, especially since people they're just pulling back and not putting their home on the market. And yet we do have demand out there and we do need houses. So seize the day, put it on the market. Now, let's talk about expectations. It might be a slightly different scenario than if you'd done it 8 months ago. You might not get multiple offers. You might get offers that are not quite as high. It's just normal is what it is. You negotiate, you might have to do inspections. We did that for a lot of years and we got through it. I would say that preparation is even more important. How you stayed your home prepared for sale, these are now even more important. Don't go with fear. This is a great, great opportunity for both buyers and sellers. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Ann Byer, Keller Williams, Exton, Pennsylvania. I'd love to hear from you. Happy to answer your questions.